ladies and gentlemen, the Baltimore Ravens win in the Harbaugh. Mm-hmm. Harbaugh versus Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh said, I lay my life down for my brother, but not a football game.
Hell yeah.
Okay, he's going to have to come and get it. John Harbaugh says the same exact thing about Jim. You're talking about a family that has had a lot of success and is still very, very tight with each other. I think they're still learning from each other, obviously hiring from each other. If you're good enough for one, you can obviously come work for us. We run ship the same exact way. Jack Harbaugh taught us the exact same. The fact that the Baltimore Ravens go in there and cover with 70% 70% of the money on them. The entire Hammer Don podcast picked them. The entire Monday Night Football countdown crew picked the Ravens. I was on the Ravens because A.J. Hawk and I had a one-game disparity this weekend. He picked the Chargers, so I was going to pick against him regardless. But once I started watching the game, I'm like, hold the phone. I got forced into picking the Ravens. Chargers go early, take a big lead, and then it was just like a matter of time. Now, that one, they took their time. I think they should have maybe challenged that particular one. I don't know if Mark Andrews had his right foot down, I think, with the ball bobbling. But then Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, this offense starts doing their thing. And the over hits, it was a high-scoring affair. Mm-hmm. But what happened was the Baltimore Ravens showcased once again that they can win. And that's a high school Lamar Jackson move. Yeah. We all saw number 7 from Boynton Beach. Mm-hmm. This internet clip took over the entire world. And then I think I saw this clip for a couple years and didn't know it was Lamar.
No idea.
And then somebody said, hey, this was Lamar, by the way. And it's like, oh, of course that was Lamar Jackson. And then he does it again on Monday Night Football. So almost felt like it was going to happen as he's running there in my mind. And Lamar's still doing ridiculous shit. So nonetheless, congrats to the Baltimore Ravens.
Hell yeah.
On getting a massive win over the Chargers. D-Butch, you watched that game. What's your big takeaway?
The Ravens are the Ravens. Bill said it on the show yesterday. Like, it could beat any team in the NFL by multiple touchdowns if they stay out of their own way. Now, obviously, got off to a slow start. I think up until his 2-minute drive before the half, Lamar had like 2 completions. Obviously, you saw Derrick Henry would get rolling. And I was kind of concerned, honestly, once the Chargers jumped out, because that's kind of been their MO. They jump out, they come out great, 10 points, get a 2-score lead, and then they just kind of start folding. You definitely saw they definitely need a big-time separator out at wide out. You just need that guy. And Justin Herbert, he can do so much, but you need that guy to
Quentin Johnston with 3 drops late in the fourth. Obviously, everybody's talking about it.
He had a tough night.
He had a tough night on the internet, too, and that's going to happen. Remember, he's been doing some great things for the Chargers this season thus far. I don't think a lot of people have seen that. The only things people see is with 8 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, you have 3 drops, and it's a 1-score game. We need you to make those type of plays. I don't think I've lost faith in the Chargers or everything that they're building, anything that they're building over there. But I do think it was nice for the Ravens to say, hey, let's remember here, okay? We were 1 punch out away at the half-yard line last year to go into the Super Bowl instead of the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, Lamar Jackson against Pittsburgh Steelers, which we just witnessed, you know, he hasn't voted well against. Lamar Jackson against the NFC, though, he's voted very well against. In teams that he doesn't get to play much, he's played very well against. So this particular team, if you think about the playoffs and everything going late, it's like, maybe the Baltimore Ravens, this is the year. And you can't help but overreact that way on this particular Tuesday after watching them do that last night in the Harbaugh Bowl.
Yeah, that was kind of the big takeaway. It's like, okay, the Ravens are very legit for one, and they have a chance to go and do the entire thing. Because their defense, of course, is great. You know, Deba mentioned they got out the Chargers to, a 10-point lead, and then they kind of settled in. No Roquan Smith, still didn't, still made it happen without him. And then even after that last drive, like they did score 23 points, but really after that 10-0 lead, they shut it down. And, that touchdown right there was kind of the entire thing for me is, Derrick Henry goes out of the game. Derrick Henry obviously went off, especially in the second half. He really got rolling. And then it's almost like, okay, hey, Justice Hill is in. We can kind of relax a little bit. Maybe Lamar runs the ball, but if Justice Hill is in, we don't have to worry about the run game. And then, boom, he rips off a 60-yard touchdown run. So it's one of those things where they can beat you in so many different ways. Likely didn't have a massive game. He's someone that could easily go off at any time. Mark Andrews obviously had a touchdown later on. The ref called it no touchdown. Clearly a touchdown. It's very odd. I don't know if these were the same exact refs from the Sunday Night Football game as well, where they had a couple suspect calls, but it did feel as though the solidifying, like, okay, the Ravens can win in primetime, they can win when they're losing, and they are definitely a contender in the entire thing.
Yeah, and I think if you think about what you need in December and January to win, obviously making plays for your quarterback, Lamar Jackson, who is an anomaly, has been since he started playing football. I mean, he's just so fast, so quick. Boom. he's out of there. And as professional athletes, the whole thing.
A record pace right now.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Like 7 yards a play.
Yeah, so Hembo sent over a bunch of stats about this Baltimore Ravens team. One of them, though, was about the running backs. Okay, let's stay with this one. So right now, Lamar Jackson, 94th percentile in interception avoidance. Okay. Not throwing picks.
That's real. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what 94.
Easier way to say it.
Yeah, he's not throwing picks. 88th percentile in sack avoidance. He's not taking sacks. Okay. That is some mature quarterbacking. Says Hembo. Amen. Not throwing pick, not taking sacks, not having negative plays. That feels like it's a smart decision. Then the Ravens were 4-6 on 3rd and short yesterday, 77% on the season, highest in the NFL. That's the Derrick Henry effect. Let's go to the leading rushers right now in the NFL. So obviously it's all about Saquon. Saquon in the full game, he has 1,392 yards. And then just in second halves, he has 920 yards. He'd be the 4th leading rusher in the NFL. But look who's number 2 right there. Derrick Henry is the 2nd leading rusher in the NFL right now. At this age, at this time, with this team. Now, we had the reaction immediately because we've seen the Tennessee Titans.
Yep.
We've had to play against the Tennessee Titans. We've watched Derrick Henry play football. As soon as he goes to Baltimore, we go, that shouldn't be fair.
What the hell?
That should not be the matchup. And then he obviously had to hear that he was washed and that he couldn't do it anymore and that running backs were being devalued and everything like that. He goes for 140 last night, but you're talking about a safety valve for this Ravens team. Whenever they get into the game against the Chiefs last year and they forget to run the ball against the Chiefs in the playoffs, you got Derrick Henry on the team, you're not going to forget to run the ball. Like Derrick Henry is going to get the rock, you would assume. Now, at the beginning of the year, Coach Harbaugh said, we're not going to give him the ball 30, 25, 30 times a game. Then he realized Derrick Henry can get the ball 25, 30 times. And we can be in a great spot. That is the difference maker, I think, for this Ravens team versus years past. Patrick Ricard can obviously move people. I loved when J.K. Dobbins was able to play healthy there a few years back. But having Derrick Henry be the style of running back that he is and how good of a running back that he is a perfect fit for this Ravens team, but also might be the answer to their playoff needs.
We know Ravens have been a physical ball club throughout Harbaugh's tenure, but they've never had a back, to your point, as dynamic as him. And all those 4th downs they went for, like 4th and 1, it was almost
like a tush push.
Exactly. It was as inevitable as that play. And he, just like Saquon, those second half stats, Derrick Henry throughout his career, he's weighed on you. He kind of changed that Tennessee Titans franchise. Like, they became that bruiser because of 2-2 and what he's been able to do back there. I think might have been Mina Kimes in the lead-up show to Monday Night Football talking about Saquon going to Philly almost being like a KD joining the Warriors. And you could say the same thing with Derrick Henry, jumping in that backfield with Lamar.
And in terms of their playoff woes and like what they need, like if they get up 10, 13 points on someone and they're really worried about their secondary, like, hey, we don't want to get bombed on, like, they can run a ball control offense with him and just grind people out. Like, I don't think we're going to have the same situation we had in the AFC Championship where they just abandon the run because they have Derrick Henry now. Like, you're not going to abandon the run if you have Derrick Henry.
Well, and they should, because that's been their issue, is holding on to leads in the 4th quarter, and they should do that. But I believe they are undefeated when he gets 20 carries this season, which they obviously didn't last week with the Steelers. They didn't early in the season. So if you just give him 20 carries, it's almost like they're gonna win the game. And then you put Lamar on a fast track last night, like Lamar on turf. Like, again, the Ravens reminded people, we lost last week. Who cares? Like, that was a division game. It's hard to win divisions games, as we've seen this last weekend. The Ravens are still good football.
Still the Ravens.
Yes,